The biblical question, what is the greatest evil? The greatest evil is forgetfulness. That's the greatest evil. Forgetfulness, when you forget. Because when you forget, you lose, as this young man was saying, you lose sight of the Father. You go back into the darkness of your imagination. That's why you should pray without ceasing so that you don't forget. And you remember to live in the present, and when you're tempted by evil, you will not fall for it. Because in the presence of God, He's changing your life from the fallen state to His nature. And that's why He doesn't want you to forget to pray. You got to remember to stay with the silent prayer. Because a lot of people forget. They start out and life open up for them, and they say all is well, and they forget to pray. They don't do it anymore. And they go right back into that darkness. Also, when you remember instead of forgetting, you develop the principles of God. You start to recognize if someone is, number one, you love God with all your heart, soul, and might, along with nothing else, and your neighbor as yourself. So when you're confronted by your enemy, it's no big deal. It's not personal because you're in the present, you haven't forgotten and gone back into the darkness. You develop the values of God. That's one of the reasons they're written down in the Bible, because people don't remember. And so when you read them, it reminds you of what you already know. And so that's why it's good to sometimes read the Bible so you can remember those values, and it'll bring you back to knowing it from within. Forgetfulness is the worst, the greatest of all evil. You got to remember, pray without ceasing. Don't let anything or anyone take you away from it, because that's what Satan wants you to do. He cannot come into the presence where God is. He has to bring you out of it so you can forget. We all already know the truth. As little kids, we were born with the truth. But because we were traumatized, we forget it. And that's why when you wake up, you start to remember what you already know. And you're going to see that it's not really a surprise that you already know this. You just forgot that you knew. So you got to, I recommend you do the silent prayer so you can grow in them. And you're going to grow in the principles, you're going to grow in everything. He will cause you to do that. And don't let Satan talk to you. Don't make anyone cause you to forget. All right? It's open door for evil. You got to stay present. And it's going to be amazing what happens. I've been doing it now for 31 years. And because I stay with it, a lot of stuff, it's just becoming so natural now. You overcome all fears, you overcome all doubts, you just live. You become a living being. And then you'll notice that your mindset has changed, that you remember the Father. You don't forget the Father. You really don't forget Him. But if you're in that fallen state or you're not serious about it, and serious about it means don't walk around all serious about it. It's just, that's the first thing, to get up in the morning, do the silent prayer. And once you start developing that relationship with the Father, you never want to forget the Father anymore. When the mothers traumatize the children, they turn them away from the fathers, and they forget the Father. But once you go back to the Father, you remember. And it's amazing. Forgetfulness is the greatest of all evil. So do the silent prayer. Stay out of your head. Every thought is a lie. No matter what happened, don't overreact. No matter what it is. Whether it's a drunk woman smoking pot or a young man dealing with his stuff, it's no big deal. You're going to see it's no big deal. But Satan wants you to forget the Father, remember His mess, so you can hurt yourself. Like with the smoking and stuff, no big deal, right? It's something you don't want to do, but if you stay with the silent prayer and have no opinion about it, it's enough to know that you don't want to do it. Eventually, you just lose the taste for the world. You will overcome it. Because God cares about the heart. He is of love, and He wants to bring you back to love because He's trying to create love. And He creates love through human beings. That's why we have to even love our enemies. We can't even hate our enemies because the enemy needs love as well. And the enemy could be lost, well, it is lost, because he or she cannot see. So stay with the silent prayers, stay present. That's why we become like other people when we were kids, because we hate what happened. Even as an adult, if you hate, let's say that somebody stole your wallet. Your friend stole your wallet, right? And then you realize, oh, I hate my friend. They stole my wallet. You become like that yourself. You'll find yourself tempted to take a wallet. It's so weird. That's why we, the children of God, we are literally protected from evil when we don't forget the Father. We're protected. And then you have, as I believe someone said about the courage, you have courage. You will see everybody else freak. And this is so important, because if you look at the world right now, the world is freaking out. Even the Christians are afraid. They have doubt. They're worried. They're all kinds of stuff, because they have not entered into the kingdom of heaven within. And in the kingdom of heaven, there's power. And so with that power, you're protected from the world. You do not walk around thinking, I'm afraid of anything. You don't think that you're not afraid, but you see other people freaking out, and you just don't have it. You're like, wow, that's amazing. You're not thinking about that. You are protected. And it's so important that you enter the kingdom of heaven within, because if you don't enter the kingdom of heaven within, you will be defeated, especially in the world today. Only the children who enter the kingdom of heaven within will survive the things to come and what's happening now, because you are protected from within, not from without. Don't forget that. You got to do the private prayer so you can enter the kingdom and you can live from that kingdom. And you can live in power and in love. And you got to speak up, but you won't hold anything against anyone. You're going to be able to defend yourself, but it just won't affect you personally, because you're a son or daughter of God. You will be protected from it. And you'll see the right time and the right place to do all things, because you're guided by the light. It would just work. And I'm a living witness to it. I wouldn't notice if it wasn't happening to me. And all this stuff that we've made so important in life, judging one another, gossiping, and carrying on, it's so stupid. You're going to want to beat yourself. You think Oprah said Harpo beat her? You're going to want to beat yourself worse than Harpo. Because it's so dumb and stupid to judge our fellow man, to hold on to stuff. It's just a waste of time. It's a waste of life. But in that fallen state, it seems like a big deal. It's not a big deal. If someone hears that she smoked pot, right? Some people think, oh, that's a big deal. What's wrong with her, right? She smoked pot. But to me, it's just something she have to let go of, because she used it. Are you over worried about what others think about you? Are you still?
Yeah, I'm still working on that one.
Yeah. Stay with the silent prayer. All that will be taken away from you. I want you all to understand, we can't change anything. We can't change being insecure. We can't change being whatever you're into in that fallen state, but He will change it, because it's all spiritual, and of ourselves we can do nothing. Even with the ladies who are giving your boyfriends and husbands a hard time, you can't change that. It's enough to know that you're wrong, do the silent prayer, and it'll work itself out. It really will. But if you try to change it, you're going to only get worse. Don't forget, stay with the silent prayer. Remember the Father. And the Father loves you. And love is amazing. It's life, it's everything. It's powerful, but you got to live from within. Any question about that? That makes sense, or anyone disagree? And somebody mentioned simplicity. Living the, God said, come unto me, my yoke is easy, my burdens are light. He was absolutely right. His ways are so easy, it's hard to find words for it. It really is. So here's what I recommend, because the time is up. Do the silent prayer. Stop judging yourself and others. Speak up, but don't resent. And your life will change. All that old stuff will fall away, and He will put you back on the path. You will become an observer, and you would know of yourself you could do nothing. So don't judge yourself. It's going to change. But you got to stay with the silent prayer. Who's not doing the silent prayer? Who's doing it off and on? Oh, okay. Stay with it. All right? And we know you're lazy. That's why you're not doing it.